You're watching Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
Connor McDavid says it's death by 1,000 cuts. They're throwing it back. They're playing all the hits. Let's get into it with the lead. It's November 6, 2023? Feels like November 6, 2013. The Oilers are dog shit. It's November. They're 12 points back at the Canucks.
Are mathematically eliminated.
Yeah. We're already focusing on the draft lottery. It's no fun. But what is fun is the fact that we're live at Greta in Vancouver. Hello.
We're going to the game tonight.
Oh, that's not exciting. The only exciting part is that we're here at Greta right now doing the show live, taking the Sports Closet studio on the road for a special edition of Oilers Nation every day, where Michael Kerber is in over on the YouTube chat with the first comment. Cup or bust? That's mean. That's mean.
We still need to believe.
Yeah.
We still need to believe. I know this is a giant tire fire, and it doesn't look like there's any signs of improvement coming down there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. But we still need to believe. We still need to believe. This is like just a character building moment on a crazy run. I'm going to say that until we're mathematically eliminated by American Thanksgiving.
Yeah. It's a short for Giant Game Day edition of the show. Edmonton looking to right the ship. One man who's never stopped believing in this team is Liam Horrobin, who joins us from a wall of jerseys. That was good, eh?
Yeah, I'm definitely the optimistic one on this show. No doubt about that.
Well,
when's Adam Ernie coming back? Yeah, this is who the Oilers need. All these guys in the lineup tonight, and they might be able to score a goal in the third period.
Have they gotten one yet? Oh, yeah, they got 2 against Dallas, so we're good. So that narrative's dead. There's a bunch of stuff for us to dig into today on the show. Before we even get into the matchup against the Vancouver Canucks tonight, we need to talk about whatever the hell we watched on Saturday. A nice, clean ass whooping at the hands of the Nashville Predators. It was not a lot of fun. It was not a game where you walked away from it like the one after Dallas going, hey, that's a loss. That feels like a win. This Oilers team's in a good spot. No. They straight up did not show up against the Nashville Predators on Saturday. Like, not even close. And there's a bunch of reasons why. I'd be curious to know maybe what's number one on everyone's list. I'm going to stand by that momentum was lost when Jack Campbell couldn't make a save.
Well, it doesn't hurt. Like, they were buzzing around there for spurts in the second and third. And you're like, hey, no, they're coming back. They made it 3-2. You saw the energy. I'm like, okay, no, this is just a matter of time. It's happening. And then fizzled out, or Jack let in another weak goal and just totally deflated the balloon that they were trying to build up here.
Liam, what's number one on your list? Why'd they lose to Nashville?
Well, it's pretty much the same reasons they've lost to every other team this season, is it not? Like, poor defense, can't score goals when they need to, and they don't get a stop when they need to. It's the same narrative almost every single night. I feel like we've done this show now 7 times over, Tyler. Like, it's getting kind of crazy at this point that the Oilers haven't been able to figure out what's broken. And, there's like, you can do all you want in the post game and all this stuff, and we can fire Woodcroft, we can fire everybody. But at the end of the day, at some point, the players on the ice actually have to put together a 60-minute performance and not just show up for the first 20 minutes of a game and hope that the next 40 minutes won't be that difficult.
You mentioned Woodcroft and all of that, and I think that is kind of the topic du jour here. I know we'll talk about Jack Campbell as the show goes on. We'll talk about the blue line. We'll get to the line combos and all of that kind of stuff. But Frank Saravalli today on Daily Faceoff Live says Jay Woodcroft's leash as Edmonton Oilers head coach is getting shorter by the day. Ryan Rashog says his job is in jeopardy and said if it was a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably at a 7.5 or an 8 is what Rashog said. I don't like this at all. I'll give my opinion on it first. I think you're looking at a core group of players who has gotten Todd McClellan. They've gotten Ken Hitchcock, Dave Tippett. Go down the line. They've gotten their head coaches. I think we could all agree that Jay Woodcroft is the one that is the most loved. I don't think this is on Jay Woodcroft. I don't think his changes to the defensive structure are the reason why they're losing hockey games. I don't think his lack of an ability to motivate players is a reason why. They won 3 playoff series in the last 2 years. Jay Woodcroft is a damn good coach. Firing him right now is a damn big mistake.
But this is a league where it's results based. So what have you done for me lately? And that's like everything you just said about Jay Woodcroft, accurate. But we're stacking L's and we need W's, and the quickest move is something like that. Would it be knee jerk? Perhaps.
Incredibly.
Does the team just need to play better? Are we better, on paper? We're a paper tiger right now.
Yeah, someone commented in here. I forget who it was.
Oh my God.
It slipped away and it said
we are paper tigers.
We are paper tigers.
Oh my God.
It was death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Liam,
okay, this isn't good.
Whose side are you on? Jay thinks it might be a necessary knee-jerk reaction. I think it could be quite possibly one of the dumbest things they could do.
But go ahead, Liam.
I don't think they should fire Woodcroft, but I also don't think he's like off the hook for this either at some points, right? Like I kind of I didn't get a chance to speak about it on Friday, but on After Dark, like I wasn't happy with the accountability he holds for some players. Like some guys aren't playing very well and they just get to play every single shift and there's no accountability for that. Like for example, Bouchard a couple of games ago against Minnesota allowed essentially 3 goals against, but directly from mistakes from him. Philip Broberg makes 1 mistake against whoever they played the other day, Dallas, and he plays 4 minutes that night. I don't like that kind of stuff from Woodcroft. I think he needs to, it can't be double standards, right? It's got to be some consistency there, but I don't like the idea of letting go of Woodcroft. I agree with you in the sense too, Tyler, of like, how many coaches is this team going to go through before they get it right? Like you have a coach in Jay Woodcroft who's taken him to the Western Conference Finals and the record there, what was it, 76 wins and 32 losses or whatever it's been. Like Jay Woodcroft isn't the issue. It's the players not playing to a standard. And if you want to fire anyone, then Ken Holland should probably go before Jay Woodcroft at the end of the day. Like Holland's the one who didn't fill in these gaps that were clearly there over the summer and what have now bled into this season too. Like there's been numerous times where we spoke about the depth of this team isn't good enough, the goaltending isn't good enough, and it's the same issues again haunting this team.
Firing Ken Holland, I mean, it's the middle of the season. What's that going to do though? And I've seen a ton of that online. I've seen so much. Ken Holland's got to go. There's not a magical trade out there for this Edmonton Oilers team. No one's sitting there and going to throw a brand new GM just because you fired Ken Holland. No one's going to go, here's a little light vest. Here's a top 4 D-man for Cody Ceci and a pick. No one's doing that. So they're stuck. This is Ken Holland's last year's GM of the team. Without a doubt, he's retiring at the end of the season. I do not see a chance that he comes back next year, even maybe at this point, even if he wanted to. Firing him right now does nothing. No, he made a good in-season trade last year for Ekholm. I think you can probably trust him to do something similar this year, but you're not firing Ken Holland, and I think it's dumb to fire Jay Woodcroft. I think that's letting the players off the hook.
But the thing is, the players can't go anywhere, right? So we're stuck with the players we have. Roster
players
construction
we have should be good enough, Jay.
But they're not.
But they're not. There's like we're finding out right now that if 97 and 29 aren't buzzing every game, that we're actually not that good a hockey team. Like the book's out. Like they're 97 and 29 aren't playing their best right now, and the other teams are doing a good job now, are having an easier time trying to shut them down. It goes back down to roster construction. When we were driving in from the airport this morning, we were talking about the Holland thing. I'm like, well, it's the last year's deal. You can't do it. But that might almost make it easier to let him go because it's the last year of his deal. Just and because what we need some kind of catalyst. Right, like we need some kind of catalyst event. Like just sitting here and saying we need the players to play better, even though the coach is delivering the same message every day. Clearly, that's not having an impact. The players themselves can't find it within themselves to play better. Something's up with 97. He is not the same. Leon obviously is very connected to the performance of 97, so it seems. So and plus we have terrible goaltending, which then goes back to my other point when I started this kind of rant: is the roster construction, our lack of depth, our horrific goaltending. Our issues. These were decisions our GM made. Valid? Sure. He decided to sign Jack Campbell and tie up $5 million a year in cap space. He did. When we had all other options and that's a big, like, GMs aren't always going to make a W on a trade, but that is a giant L, and we are feeling the repercussions of that right now because we don't have the space. We desperately need to do something right now. We only added Connor Brown this offseason, and obviously he's having his struggles, so it's not having the impact that we thought, or when I say we, that Ken and his scouting team thought that they would have. So, like, if tonight, very important game, if we don't win, something needs to happen. I don't know what it is. It could be one of there's many options. It could be a terrible trade. It better not be a Strome for Spooner type trade, because
or Kajula for Manning, or
well, we need to do the reverse. We need to do the reverse of that, which wishful thinking, I know, or it's a coach move or it's a GM move, but something needs to happen because apparently we're very comfortable losing.
I think one thing too. Sorry, I was just gonna say on the Holland thing too. I do agree, Tyler, with you saying like trades aren't gonna get easier if we get this new GM in town, whoever it may be. But I think at the same breath too, like maybe the new GM, whoever it could be, doesn't have the same attachment to players that Holland has, and maybe that can like freshen things up. And I don't know what the deal would even be. And it's like, oh, everyone's clamoring for a new goalie, and they obviously need one. But who's available 10 games into the season? Like, this is an issue the Oilers are just going to have to deal with until somebody gets worse and worse and worse. Hopefully not the Oilers, and a goalie becomes available for them.
We don't have time. Our trade deadline is like November 10th.
Yeah,
Brent
so
is in and
like,
says,
interesting.
Sorry. Brent says, who is available when the Oilers signed Campbell? And I mean, Darcy Kemper signed for $250K more, and I think Husso was $250K less. Both those guys have been respectable NHL goalies for the last 14 months. Yeah. Can't say that about Jack.
Oh, Kemper, if you talk to anyone in Washington, Kemper sucks right now.
Okay, but he's not Jack Campbell.
I know, but like that, but maybe there's a trade. Like maybe there's a trade. Like man, good teams make trades. Look at LA. They got rid of, what was it, Cal Peterson, or whatever the heck his name was. He was a $5 million cap hit, granted not at the same amount of term, but they found a way to do it. Like, just good GMs just find a way. It's going to cost us in the future. Yep. But do you give a shit if we win a Stanley Cup this year or next year and have another decade of darkness? I don't give a shit. Do you give a shit?
So are you giving up 2 first-round picks and Philip Broberg to get rid of Jack Campbell and get John Gibson?
But that's probably too much of an ask.
You're not getting rid of Jack Campbell unless there's 2 first-round picks going out the door.
It depends what we're taking back, because maybe they have a make-work project. Like, if it's it's,
you know what the easy solution is right now? And I see people saying
Jack Campbell play better?
Well, sure. I would love to see that. People have said it before, and I laughed at it last year. I laughed at it all the time last year, and I'm finally ready to take it seriously. He's got to go on waivers. He's done. No more. Go play in Bakersfield for 3 weeks. Right the ship. Call up Picard. Call up Rodrigue. Don't care. Stuart starting the next however many games for you anyways.
It's not going to hurt us, and it gives us, what, 1.125 of cap space?
1.1 or whatever it is, yeah.
That's something.
Why
it's not there. I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
Once again, like some kind of like crazy event, and doing something like that is crazy. Do we look dumb? Yes, but from the outside. But it's something that we desperately need to do, and then go and do something with it, and still probably make a trade on top of that.
Sorry, Tyler. I think a lot of people I've noticed this online. Obviously, it wouldn't be the $5.5 million that would clear up on the Oilers, right? They could only bury so much.
$1 million, yeah. 1.1, whatever it is. So you would still save a little bit of money going from him to like a Rodrigue or a Picard, I believe. That could give you enough money to maybe run a roster more often. And listen, like last year, I was kind of like, first year of the deal, you got to have patience with them. You don't want to sour any sort of a relationship early on. Now we're at the point where it's the second straight November where we're sitting here talking about Jack Campbell performances that are tanking this team's chances of winning hockey games. Feelings, F your feelings, man. Go sit in Bakersfield.
I'd like to apologize to the audience because I tried to will the Jack is back mantra. I'm sorry.
We all did.
But like, it's because it's what we wanted to happen. It's what we wanted to happen. Didn't mean it was going to happen. We probably all knew in the back of our minds it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And we tried. So I want to apologize. Accountability. See?
I want to go take a peek at what everyone's saying in the Finning Cat YouTube chat, because your opinions on this whole thing matter. Dave Lund, Holtby is still a free agent. I just call it Picard, right? Like, you're not. If you wanted a free agent, you could have went and given Yaro Halak a PTO like the Canes did. But yeah. Brent says Kemper wasn't coming here. I mean, if you pay anyone enough money, they'll come here. But I'm not even saying. Your point, Brent, was what other goalies were available. You could have went and got Billy Husso. I'm
sure Kemper would happily leave Washington right now. I just don't know if Washington would happily take Jack Campbell.
No one would. I saw my boy Tyler Mulick is in here. He said, I see he followed up too. Why is that the ask when Erik Karlsson got moved for like nothing, way more money? I mean, Eric Carlson
but
won a
it's Eric
Norris. 100
Carlson. He's
points.
actually an impact player.
Yeah, and Tyler Mulick did follow that up, to be fair. Like, the problem is you're trading Connor or Vancouver. We're in Vancouver. They can't trade Connor Garland, $4.6 million winger. And I guess
I would take him on our team in a heartbeat.
Would you? Hey, if they were willing to take Jack Campbell, they could have. We'll take Connor Garland.
I would do Jack at like half retained. I know we don't have the space to do it, but
people are jumping in. People are jumping in and saying you can't waive a player with a no movement clause. Jack Campbell doesn't have no movement clause. Jack Campbell has a no trade clause, according to Cap Friendly. Modified no trade. Player submits a 10-team no trade list. Boom, Bakersfield, you go. Bye-bye. I'm over him, man. I'm over him. And I know people are going to sit there and be like, defensive zone structure, this, that. That Philip Forsberg goal, how many wraparound goals have we seen Connor McDavid score in his career? Like 2 or 3. How Jack Campbell bites that hard on that move is beyond me. And I know people, again, are going to sit there, oh, Nurse lost O'Reilly in front. Jack Campbell can't catch a puck. It just hits him and sits next to the blue paint. And yeah, O'Reilly's got to get a bit of a stick on it. People were roasting me on Twitter when I said we've hit Mikko levels here when he gave up 2 goals in 6 seconds. He got beat once. It came back out of the net. They didn't see it. The play went around, and he got beat again playing like a GD road hockey goalie sliding out to the top of the crease. It's embarrassing.
Now, Tyler, the chat isn't wrong, or some of the audience is not wrong. Like, goaltending is one of the hooks to hang this shitty performance on.
Biggest hook.
But our defense, we're not good. We're not good defensively right now. It's both aren't great right now.
Yeah.
And goaltending really exposes that, because we can't get, like, poor Philip Broberg, there was such that play that led to a goal, like, up until he just did the soft backhand dump, like, he whiffed on the backhand and gave away possession, and they turned and scored. But, like, we've been doing that, we've made those types of mistakes every game, and it's just be nice once in a while to get one of those stopped. And the issue is they're not. So it is, we have to, the players in front of the goalies have to take some accountability, and that play needs to improve. Yeah. But you're right to hang it on the goalies, but we have to also, consider all the people accountable. But, like, we're not getting any saves. Like, that saves, he makes that save, Oilers win that game.
If Stuart Skinner stops the Matt Duchene breakaway, Oilers win that game.
Yep. Oh God, that was short side too.
Short side, missed the 5-hole, somehow went under his pad. Like, I mean, and listen, I don't want to give Stu a free pass here, but at least we can look back to last season and
he's
go,
got a nice mustache.
Well, yeah, but you look back to last season and you go, oh yeah, competent all-star goalie. Like, he'll figure it out. Jack's not figuring it out, Liam. Are you in the same boat as me or what?
Yeah, I am completely off the Jack Campbell train. And, like, a couple of weeks ago, Tyler, when we spoke about it, I said, I think it was after the Minnesota game, I was like, I think you got to take goalies game by game. But those numbers do not speak to it. What Skinner has done this season, I don't feel like. I actually feel like he's been a little bit better than an 861 save percentage. There's just been moments where it's like, you should have saved this one, you should have saved this one. But he's actually been decent in most of the games he's played. Where Campbell, he's just like, every time they come down the ice, besides the Nashville game, I think, yeah, it was when they won whatever that was in Nashville and Leon Draisaitl took over. Besides that game, it's been horrible every single night. I think it's just best for everyone if he's just not on this team anymore. There's obviously still a future here for him because he has 3 more years left on his contract, but just send him down for a couple of weeks, give Skinner the crease, maybe get some flow in his game and he can get going again there, and then just put Kyle Pickett up, who I think has like a 930 save percentage in the American League this season. That's pretty good. Even American League or not, he's stopping the puck.
Dave Lunn, is Tyler talking about the goal that Nurse whiffed on, clearing the shot, and then tipped the puck under Skinner's pad? No, that would be the Hintz goal, which, yeah, Darnell Nurse needs to clear that puck, but also Stuart Skinner let it sit right in front of him, and he let in a shot that went 2 miles an hour. So
you can't fault Skinner on that one. And you can't fault Nurse either. You can't fault either on that goal.
I'm faulting everybody.
May I throw a stat out there for everyone to hear, which just, this can probably end the goaltending conversation because I don't think it can get any worse than this. In the NHL this season, the San Jose Sharks have an 873 save percentage. The Edmonton Oilers have an 867. The San Jose Sharks have allowed 20 goals in the last 2 games.
So does that mean we're going to lose 12-1 to Vancouver tonight?
Like that. They might get, I don't know. It's a sure
Hit the over. Game day. Hit the
we'll
over.
dig into all that. There's one more thing on the goaltending front I want to talk about, and it's this. The fire Dustin Schwartz thing. I think this is not as clear cut as people see it. And I don't know the guy personally. I've had maybe one interaction with him in my life. I don't have a personal reason to go to bat for Dustin Schwartz. And in a results-driven business, do I think it's probably time for the Oilers to make a change? Yeah, I think it is. I think you can look at the track record and whatever, but there's also probably a decent chicken egg debate to be made here of are the goalies bad because Dustin Schwartz is teaching them bad technique? Or are the goalies bad because the goalies are just bad? Does Dustin Schwartz look like a bad coach because he keeps being given bad goalies?
I'll tell you what they should have done. They should have backed the Brinks truck up to Sean Burke when he was available.
Or Mitch Korn, he was available.
That's what they should have done. And it's not a Dustin Schwartz issue. It's just a Sean Burke is a goalie whisperer.
Yeah. Christopher Palmer, Carter Hart uses Dustin Schwartz in the summer. Like, again, the fact that Dustin Schwartz is actually somewhat well respected in the community and has survived 5 coaching changes.
He can only work with what he can work with.
Exactly. And that's why I just think it's just such a cheap argument, in my opinion, to sit there and just go, oh, just fire the goalie coach. Oh, just fire the goalie. It's easy. Just fire the goalie coach.
No,
you think Jack Campbell reads that wraparound better if there's someone else being like watching film with him, being like, hey, Jack, he's not actually going to shoot it from the goal line, man. He's going to do a wraparound. Like, come on. I just don't think you can pin it all 100% on Dustin Schwartz, but I agree that it's probably time to make a change just for the sake of making a change.
Yes, and that's where we're at. And that's where, like, you know, unfortunately, coaches pay the price for that.
Yeah.
And this is where, like, Woody's and hot water. If we don't win tonight, and trust me, when we get to our Betway bets, I'm betting on the Oilers. I still believe. But if we don't, yes, I'll be slightly lighter in the wallet, but Woody's going to be even potentially lighter.
Dacky, Tyler, can I find a breakdown of Schwartz and how he's changed their habits to be worse? I think that's just the tough part of this argument, again, is like, you also can't do the reverse. You can't sit there and be like, oh, prove to me how Skinner's gotten better because of him. Or how, right? So that's kind of the frustrating part. Like,
it's a blind spot.
It's just, I don't like having that argument very much just because I don't think it's going to solve anything is my point. In the summer, move on from him. Sure. Don't care. In the meantime,
maybe fire the team chef.
Fire Hunter.
No, can't do that. Took my daughter to her very first game, and that was one of the bright spots was her love for Hunter. So Hunter, I now know your value to this world because my daughter loves you. Fire the chef. Feed him better.
Let's lighten the mood a little bit. Let's lighten the mood. Liam, we were having this debate at the office. I'm not sure if you were there the other day. And if there's kids watching, maybe plug their ears. If you were the man who is Hunter the Lynx, how many dates do you go on with a female until you tell them what you actually do for a living?
Or with anyone.
Yeah, male or female. How many dates?
Or another Lynx.
Yeah, or another Lynx. How many dates do you go on with another person before you go, I have something to tell you?
Well, we don't know what his contract is like because I think he was poached from Pittsburgh or something.
Yeah, I think he was the Wilkes Scranton mascot.
Yeah, and the great mascot poaching of 2017.
He was a big offseason acquisition.
One of the biggest acquisitions to date. Man, it depends what his contract says. I would really,
but like there have to be a point where you're like, I can't keep this a secret from you.
I know.
I'm Hunter the Lynx.
I would love for us to interview him.
Me too.
I would
Didn't
love
the
it.
Flames guys have Harvey the Hound on?
Yes. He's come out. He's broken the fourth wall, I believe they call it in showbiz.
And also, what's your upper up?
I'm a consultant.
Yeah, I work in game ops.
I'm the goal. I'm the one of the video review guys that you don't ever see.
Liam, how many dates?
Wouldn't it be the first one? I guess it would be dependent on how good the date is going. If it's going bad and you know it, it's like, oh, maybe I got to pull this one out and see if this improves anything.
Man, you go around telling everyone you go on dates with that you're Hunter the Lynx. Eventually, everyone around town's going to know you're Hunter the Lynx. And
the first stage shouldn't be about what you do. It should be about who you are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
maybe he is a hunter.
He is mentally, he goes into hunter mode. So what if he goes silent on the date and just starts doing like acrobatics at the bar or restaurant that they're at?
He's like a railing he can walk up and he just like gets triggered into his zone. He's like, I gotta get up there.
Yeah. Or
knock someone's popcorn out of their hands at the movies.
Or Queen comes on.
Yeah, and he's just in the zone. I don't know, man. We just need something fun to talk about.
Hunter.
Dangerous Wade, I'm not reading your comment.
What did it say? Where is it?
That one's just for the YouTube chat. Podcast listeners, you don't get that. You don't
Valid
get
question,
the
though. Valid question.
Very good. Very good question.
That's actually not a question, statement, observation.
All right, let's continue along. It's a Sherwood Ford Giant Game Day edition of the show, brought to you by not just our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant, but Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Jay, I know you haven't been out to Sherwood Park in a while, but next time you do, you're going to see a massive building out by Millennium Place with a sleek all-black exterior. Inside there, you'll know there's a 91,000 liter test pool.
If the Oilers don't win tonight, I might drink 91,000 liters of beer. Please drink responsibly.
Yeah.
18 plus.
Whether you need fishing boats, pontoon boats, ATVs, side-by-sides, or motorcycles, you will be able to get it all at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Opening February 2024. 371 Lakeland Drive, Sherwood Park. Let's dig into this matchup against the Vancouver Canucks. This is a Canucks team that's playing some damn good hockey right now.
They're buzzing.
This is a Canucks team that I think across the board is a paper tiger and will come crash down to earth at some point.
You know what, though? They got the coaching catalyst. Imagine if Rick Tocchet was our coach right now.
Oh, my God. We'd be looking to fire him.
You don't know that.
I'm pretty confident we would be. But my point is with the Canucks, like at some point, I think their play is going to fall off. You look at the numbers, they're leading the NHL in 5-on-5 shooting percentage by like a pretty significant gap.
Maybe because they were coached to do so.
Rick Tockett's the first coach to come into an NHL locker room and be like, hey guys, try shooting the puck in the net.
At 5-on-5.
Maybe just different.
Let me finish my point. The Canucks at some point are going to fall off.
Wow.
The thing with the team on a heater is that you never know when that's coming. They're going to be a very tough out tonight. This is so far from an easy game for this Oilers team. I'm very worried. I'm very worried about a matchup against the Canucks.
I know. And going into the season, I thought they were the free spot on the bingo card. We are the free spot on the bingo card right now.
The fact the Oilers have lost games
tonight. That's the thing. Sometimes you can catch a team sleeping because they think you are the free spot.
Liam, what do you make of this Canucks team?
I think they're much better than the Oilers right now. I think that's fair to say. And I think it's quite funny to call them a paper tiger when we suck. Also, who's starting goal for for the Vancouver Canucks tonight?
Who cares?
I mean, probably Thatcher Demko because he's been but I will I'll do you a solid, Liam, and I'll fire up daily face-off in the starting goaltenders page, where I'm probably going to see a nice picture of our boy Carter Hutton's face as well. I would assume it's Demko. They're back on home ice. They aren't playing second of back-to-backs or anything like that, right?
Yeah, I just wondering because everyone seems to want to just play that back up against us right now, and rightfully so. But tonight, if there's anything the Oilers need, and they need the big players to actually score some goals here. Like, what's it been 6 games since Draisaitl, McDavid have scored a goal, and maybe Nugent-Hopkins is the other guy too. Like, they need one of those guys to put the puck in the back of the net, and then we can worry about the rest later. Like, the goaltending obviously has been bad, but we're not exactly scoring at the same time. And it seems like our stats are good because we have all these expected goals, but we've also just trailed in so many games that I think that's just boosted everything up. So for me tonight, the Oilers just need to be able to find some scoring from their top guys, which is a wild thing to say about this team.
Yeah, it is. Thatcher Demko is listed as the likely starter on dailyfaceoff.com. He was the first off the ice at Canucks this morning. Nothing confirmed on the Oilers, but good stuff to again. What are we doing here? I'm gonna go with Jack. Dude. There's no way.
Imagine.
It'd be a great bit. It'd be a good way. It'd be in a way like a resignation letter from Woody, so I'd kind of respect it. Yeah, there's no shot. Let's get into our expected lineups tonight. What are we going to start with, AB? You want to go Canucks first? Flash them up. Let's talk about how the Vancouver Canucks are going to look in this hockey game here. Elias Pettersson will center the top line with Andrei Kuzmenko and Ilya Mikheyev, a very interesting trio that head coach Rick Tocchet has kind of found a lot of chemistry in here. And Elias Pettersson's looking like a Hart Trophy candidate.
Yeah, it's weird to not have Connor McDavid in the running at the moment. It's weird.
And I use his hurt now too, but McDavid's an afterthought Hart Trophy talk.
Oh man,
very weird. Second line for the Canucks is JT Miller with Brock Besser and Phil Di Giuseppe. Pius Suter with Connor Garland and Dakota Joshua. Sam Lafferty, the Oiler killer, with Anthony Beauvillier and Nils Hoglander. Nils Hoglander, also a bit of a sneaky Oilers killer as well. But Liam, this is a Canucks team that they'll run 4 lines on you. They have good high-end skill. Like, as much as I think they're due to take a step back, they're not a 110-point team like the pace they're playing at right now. they're still a very, very good competitive hockey club.
Yeah, definitely. They've got, like you said, they've got a lot of firepower in that forward group of theirs. And I mean, you look at it on paper and you probably don't think it's that deep, but they've actually been able to produce at a pretty good rate. And coming into the season, I think everyone was under the assumption this forward group would be pretty solid, but probably not as good as they are. So again, it's going to be a difficult night for the Oilers if they want to try and play defense tonight. They're going to have to do it very, very well against a promising forward group from the Canucks.
Yeah, and on the blue line, they're led by Quinn Hughes, who I think is without a doubt the front runner for the Norris Trophy right now. He's been remarkable for the Canucks. He's actually like when they were in town.
I hope he has the flu.
Yeah, when they were in town a couple weeks ago, watching him play, like I can't take my eyes off the dude on the ice. Like he's.
Why don't you marry him?
I might try if we run into him on the street. Might propose on the spot. That top pairing with Hughes and Philip Hronek, Quachelli says it's the best pairing in the NHL. I think that's a bit of a stretch because it's definitely not, but it also is very damn good. The thing they do best is they skate, and that's going to be the tough thing for the Oilers.
Would you take him as your top pairing right now?
Yes,
okay.
I would. Carson Soucy's back in the lineup.
Oh boy, perfect.
Yeah, he's on a pairing with Tyler Myers, and then Ian
Twin
Cole.
Towers. Holy cow, that's a big defensive. Yeah.
And then Ian Cole with Mark, don't call me Elliot Friedman on the third pair. They are healthy. They're starting their number one goalie. Their forward group's good.
They're deep.
They've only allowed, let's check in on my game notes quickly, 2 5-on-5 goals against in their last 5 games.
So you still think, after we just went through their roster and how they're playing, you think they're fake news?
I don't think they're fake news. I don't think they're a 110-point team, which is what they're pacing at. I think they're like a mid-90s, 98-point team. You think the Canucks will hit 100 points?
Well, they're not giving me a reason not to think it.
They look good. They've got if you take away the names off that sheet, they've got a Vezina starting goaltender, a Norris caliber defenseman, and an MVP candidate up front. You put the names in, and it's like, oh, they're the Vancouver Canucks. It's like, well, they should be one of the best teams in the league.
They're deep, man.
Yeah, they're very deep. They're going to be a problem tonight. It's not going to be an easy one. You look at this Canucks team, like I said, only 2 5-on-5 goals against in the last 5 games. That was an awkward voice crack. I mentioned their shooting percentage, the numbers on that, 13.49% at 5-on-5. They're the league leader by a full 1.36% gap. So a lot of pucks are finding the back of the net. Granted, they've gotten to play the Oilers twice. That'll always help the old shooting percentage.
Us in San Jose. Come get your cookies.
Okay, so the Oilers are going to play the Sharks on Thursday.
Oh, man.
Sharks still don't have a win.
Why are we doing this right now? Because I'm already, like, as you can tell, a little bit downtrodden.
Yeah, okay. You know what? We can move on. We don't need to do the Sharks thing here tonight or right now. Let's talk about the Oilers lines. And wait, exciting news, everybody. No more orange jerseys. Aaron, flash them up. There's going to be like a big,
Oh, and
they're blue jerseys.
Let's
Connor
go.
McDavid on the top line with Leon Draisaitl.
All right, Oilers by 100. Let's go.
Yeah, the DFO line era. That's the spark. We thought the Heritage Classic was going to be the spark. It wasn't.
No.
We thought Sam Gagner's return was going to be the spark.
Nope.
It wasn't. DailyFaceoff.com uses blue jerseys
And
now.
Hamlin.
And James Hamlin's back. Talk about that in a second. Top 6, though, staying the same. Nuge with Kane and Gagner. Third line is Holloway with McLeod and Fogle. Derek Ryan with James Hamlin and Raph Lavoie. Maybe Connor Brown ends up in the mix here at some point. I know Sam Gagner wasn't skating at practice, so I would say the fact they're calling up Hamlin probably means one of Gagner or Brown can't go tonight. Connor Brown almost played last game, which was a very confusing part of our pregame show, pregaming with Bordsy. We had about a 10-minute run where the Predators tweeted out Saros was starting. And then they tweeted JK Kevin Lankinen starting. But I already told the listeners that UC Saros was starting.
Oh, boy.
And then Jack tweeted Connor Brown's on the ice after I said Connor Brown's not playing. And then Rashog tweeted the game lines. And then Connor Brown got scratched. It was very confusing. Anyways, James Hamlin up in the mix. Liam, you're our prospect boy. What can we expect out of James Hamlin tonight?
Probably a good, honest work ethic, which has been lacking from many of the bottom 6, unless your name's Sam Gagner. So that'll be nice to mix in there. It's quite a shame, actually, when we have to call up players from Bakersfield to actually put in some effort on this team some nights. But Hamlin's had a pretty good start to the season, 3 goals in 6 games. I don't know if he's an NHL player, but he's definitely probably a quad A player, right? Like, he's a good player to kind of call up when you need he might be able to give you a little bit more than what Derek Ryan can bring in some nights, right? He's just going to have a little bit more energy because he's like 10 years younger. So he'll be fine tonight. I don't know if he's going to be anything crazy, though. He probably only plays 6 minutes anyway.
3 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Although I will say, I saw a lot of people roasting Dylan Holloway's minutes in the last game. Dylan Holloway was bad against Nashville. There was 4 or 5 moments in that game where I was just sitting there going, "Why did he do that? Why would you do that? Why did that puck go there?" He looked lost a lot against Nashville, so that was actually the first time where I kind of don't blame Woodcroft for stapling Holloway to the bench. He was dead last on the team in minutes at just 631. They got caved when he was on the ice. Granted, almost everybody got caved when they were on the ice, with the exception of like Derek Ryan and Warren Fogle. So still, the fourth line, not super optimistic that they're going to be able to bring you a lot. I also got a chuckle after the Nashville game at people who were tweeting me and whatever saying, "Oh yeah, are you going to talk about how Lavoie wasn't the answer you thought he was?" I mean, it's been one game.
Come on.
So maybe we should chill. I thought Lavoie looked good though, Liam.
Yeah, he looked good for the opportunities he was given. I don't know. I think we'll see. I think the question is going to be, when the lineup is eventually healthy, is it Lavoie or Holloway that stay in the team, right? Like, Holloway's not done anything really to keep himself in the lineup every night. At the moment, is due to injuries and lack of cap space, but maybe eventually that's what the decision comes down to. But it's also going to take Lavoie to get some consistency and show some offense in his game too. I mean, if Lavoie scores a point, it'd be more than Holloway at this point in the season. He's played 2 games.
Someone asked us, why don't they split up McDavid and Draisaitl? I know there's also an idea. Maybe, Aaron, we could flash up the lines just so I got the visual here. The idea of going to what they're calling the spine and playing McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nuge all on different lines. Listen, with the way things are going right now, I don't think anything should be off the table. No. And it's just tough because you're at a point right now where every game is so important. And I've always said that your best chance of winning a single game is with 97 and 29 together. Over the course of 82, I said, yes, you need to find times where you split them apart for long stretches and elevate everyone else in the lineup. But right now, like, Jay Woodcroft's coaching for his life, which is also probably a mistake to have a lame duck head coach standing behind there, but he's coaching for his life. So I understand why he's doing
They're playing 30 minutes tonight.
They probably are.
Yeah.
They've been playing it every night. Every night is 30 minutes of Draisaitl and McDavid. Like, I don't know. It's an argument we're gonna have every show, and I don't think it's gonna.
They just gotta get it going. They don't have it going right now. But I just don't like the fact that if they're not like absolutely buzzing, we don't have a sniff.
KP says the list of people who deserve to be here is shorter than the list of dudes that do. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point as well. The give a shit meter has been painfully low for too many games this year, and it was the same thing against Nashville. I think part of it, like, they deserved a better fate against Dallas, and maybe that just got into their psyche a little bit, where it's like, oh, okay, eventually we're just going to start getting lucky, and then they stopped working. The thing is, as much as I have been hammering home the part that the Oilers have been unlucky this year, if you don't work hard, you're not winning games, and if you don't work hard, your luck's never going to turn around.
Like, being on the Schneid is a very bizarre place, and they're not putting in the effort to try to get off the Schneid. But it's still a mental thing, and it can weigh you down. So they just got to get a win, and then they go to San Jose next.
Yep. Jake hopped in and said, and he corrected us, according to Tony Brar, they're doing Derek Ryan, McLeod, and Fogle as the third line, Holloway, Hamblin, Lavoie as the fourth line. Either two things are going to come of that fourth line. Either Jay Woodcroft is thinking today's a 9-forward kind of game, and those three are going to play 4 minutes.
Condor connection, man.
Or he's seeing something in them. He's coached most of them at the Bakersfield level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all 3.
Yeah, with the exception of Holloway. Holloway might have been after. Either way, he's coached a couple of them at the AHL level. Maybe he sees something in that trio, and he's like, son of a bitch, let's try it.
Yeah, that'd be it's a good reason to give it a go. Like, if that line has any kind of chemistry at all, then why not throw it out there and see what he can do? Yeah. What was the third line again? Sorry, Ryan, McLeod, and Fogle.
Yeah, you got it.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Very. I'd expect the blender to be fired right up real early into this game.
Yep. All right, D pairings are staying the same. Stuart Skinner is going to get the start, his first one since losing to the Dallas Stars. If I had to make a prediction out of the next 10 games, I think Stuart Skinner starts 8 or 9 of them.
Start them all, man.
Yeah, they honestly, and that might be the thing too. They play so much hockey that it's tough, but like they don't have back-to-backs here for quite some time. You can ride Stuart Skinner for a good chunk of this next stretch, and I'm not worried about. You can't sit there and be like, oh, is he going to tire out like he did last year? Like at this point, you want to make it to where you did last year. So yeah, there's no back-to-backs this month. Play Stuart Skinner the rest of November, as far as I'm concerned.
Come on, Stu.
Liam, you in or out?
I'm all in. There's not much else to say about it.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
Kevin is in and says a culture of zero accountability is all on the coach. Bench lazy Leon when he blows a back check. This coaching staff is ran by the players, and it should be the other way around.
I agree. I totally agree. I'm sorry to cut you off there, Tyler.
Yeah, no,
Pascal Vincent, like, I'm not saying these guys need to be benched every single time they make a mistake. Like, sometimes you just gotta be like, hey, like, don't worry about it. Go and get them next time. But there's just there's no accountability for some guys, but other guys, like, every time they make a mistake, they're out. Like, Johnny Gaudreau got benched the other day in Columbus, and I know he's not having a great season, but it's like, it shouldn't matter what name is on the back of the jersey. It matters about the logo on the front. And at the end of the day, if someone's not pulling their weight, they deserve to sit on the bench for a couple of shifts and see if the next guy can do it. Because then that's going to prove that you actually have a team mentality and not an individual mentality.
Colin says every player should get 15 minutes of ice time. I mean, no, this isn't a
no.
team. Like, your ice time's got to be earned, and I do agree with that 100%. I understand when they're down by 1, why he keeps rolling to the guys with offensive upside. Like, you talked about Minnesota, Liam, in that game. I mean, when you're losing by 2, who gives you a better chance of coming back in that game? Philip Broberg or Evan Bouchard? It's Bouchard, man.
It is. It's totally Bouchard. And I understand that side of it too. But you can fill in Darnell Nurse as well. Like, he's had some offensive seasons as well. Like, Philip Broberg arguably was his best defenseman that night and played the fewest amount of minutes. It's just like, sometimes you just got to go to hot guys. And it's like that game too. Like, Warren Fogle had 2 goals, and I think it was him and Evander Kane were the only guys who were really going. And Warren Fogle, the only forwards that played fewer minutes than him were Adam Ernie and Derek Ryan. Like, it's just stuff like that. It's like, why are you not paying attention to what is happening to your team in that moment? And some players just deserve to play a little bit more some games.
Yeah, and I think Eric is someone in the chat who agrees with you, Liam. He says it sets a shit example for someone like Holloway that gets buried on the bench for the same mistake Leon's made over and over and over again. And yeah, sure. Dacky says the obvious answer is always Janmark. Sure, it doesn't even matter the question anymore. The answer is just always Janmark.
Janmark's been fine. He's always fine. You know what you get with Janmark.
Yeah. He hasn't been a problem, at least. Whatever. All right, let's continue along and get to our betting segment for the day, brought to you by Betway 19+. Please play responsibly as we flash up the board for our betting challenge. I can't imagine anyone's in the positives after the last week. I am. Oh, Liam, look at you, just holding on, hey, just biting it up half a unit.
Warren Fogle is guiding me to victory.
What do you got today? What do you like?
I'm going with Daryl. Daryl over 2.5 shots plus 140. He's hitting in back-to-back games, so I got a feeling the Oilers are going to shoot a lot tonight. They put up 40 last time they played Vancouver, so maybe I'll do it again.
Oilers money line, McDavid 2+ points at plus 200 is my bet. They will win. McDavid will have a breakout game, and I'll be sitting here up 1 unit by the end of the evening. I like this bet. I think 97's due for one.
I really like that bet, and I wanted to tail you on it, but at the end of the day, it's about manifesting what we really need, and it's just a W. I don't care how we get it.
Mm-hmm.
Oilers money line. It's not sexy. It's paying what, 1.9?
You're trying to send a message to the players here. You're like, you know what? Enough with the fancy crap.
Yeah,
go out
I'm
there,
sending the message.
Win. Just a win.
Just win the goddamn game.
Yeah.
Not just for yourselves, but for all of us, because this has been a very shitty 6 weeks. Like, terrible.
Yeah, it's largely miserable.
It's been below mid. What's below mid?
There's a word.
Teach me the words.
There's a word for it.
Bad.
No,
yeah,
there's
okay,
like
bad?
There's a hip slang term that people will use for below mid. I don't know. I can't. I'd slip in me right
so just win. This is we're 0-2 on the season against these guys. They've embarrassed us.
Yep.
And let's just show that we care and put it in an effort.
Yep.
And win the game.
Shout out to Betway 19+. Play responsibly. I'm surprised the Oilers and the Canucks. I mean, I'm surprised because if you would have told me 6 weeks ago, I wouldn't have believed you. But the fact that this game's basically a pick'em is somewhat stunning.
I know. I feel like I should be in juicier odds. I feel like I've gone through enough pain that I should get a little bit more juice.
Betway should be rewarding us. They should be like, you know what?
We still feel sorry for you.
Yeah,
But they have a sports book to operate, and they got rules and actuaries that are formulating these odds. So that's what they say, and I will bet it.
Let's get to the menu for the rest of tonight in the sporting world. It's delivered by DoorDash, where for a limited time, our Canadian listeners can get 15% off, or sorry, 25% off and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when they download DoorDash app and use the promo code Nation25. I hope the Oilers execute better than I just executed that tonight. That was ugly. Anyways, the menu tonight, Monday Night Football in the NFL is a decent little, it's like a partial appetizer. You'll be able to watch the first quarter before the Oilers.
What is it? Jets?
Charges. Jets, Charges.
Why do you go Charges?
Charges. I don't know. Jets, Chargers. And then in the NHL tonight, it's actually a somewhat decent slate, but my phone isn't loading. So, Liam, what's your favorite matchup of the night?
Probably the football game, to be honest.
Oh, jeez. Liam, don't.
Let's see what we got here. So it's Columbus, Florida, Tampa Bay, Toronto. That'll be good.
Ooh,
Boston, Dallas. Boston, Dallas. Outside of Edmonton, that's probably what I'll watch before the game.
Tampa, Toronto, that's going to scream over. I think it's going over.
Because Toronto is also a tire fire right now, which kind of makes me feel okay. But
no, I'm going to push back on the idea that Toronto's a tire fire because I just think they're bored over there. Like the Leafs are 5-4-1 or whatever. Like they're all.
Haven't they lost 4 in a row or something like that?
Let's have a look.
With some OT losses in there, maybe they're 5-4-2. They're 1 point back of Tampa Bay. They're making up this whole the players aren't fighting for each other. Why'd we sign Ryan Reeves? I just think everyone's bored. I think they're bored with regular season hockey in Toronto, and they're making up controversies.
Well, we went into this season being bored of regular season hockey and just saying, punched our ticket to playoffs, and that's where it all begins. Now we are on life support.
I had some sort of a line, I think, in one of our first shows of the season, Liam, where I said, if this season's not boring, then something's gone terribly wrong.
Yes, you did.
Damn, and something went terribly wrong.
Right.
I was sadly right.
Freezing cold take.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Something else on the menu tonight, Tyler, is we're doing a watch along on the Oilersnation YouTube for tonight's game, obviously against the Canucks. So Aaron and I will both be there. I think BM will be there. Was a bunch of people at the office. So that'll start right around 8-ish, right after pre-gaming.
So we're going to be, oh man, what a loaded day for content. This show wraps up. Gregor's on the YouTube from 2 to 6. New episode of the Real Life podcast after that. Pre-gaming goes from 7 till 8. Oilers game with a watch along on the Oilers Nation YouTube. That one goes right at puck drop, right? You guys will get going.
Just don't leave the page. Stay on.
Yeah, right around puck drop, we'll kick her off and we'll go right till the end of the game, and then right into After Dark, which I think is me and Aaron and maybe some other people. We'll see.
Just some other people.
Yeah, we'll mix it.
Well, you know what? We're in enemy territory, and Tyler and I are going to go corrupt the folks at Canucks Conversation on their show and be a little bit more positive about our team than we were on this show and try to show them what's up.
Christopher Palmer says, who's doing Real Life? We still got Wanye, BM, and Chalmers back at the main station.
It'll be the trio, the 3 horsemen.
Yeah, so less structure because I'm not there. More chaos, probably what people want out of an episode of Real Life.
Chalmers owes us a Keep It 100 from last week.
He does.
Those sometimes take 45 minutes in themselves to get through. So that would be your episode of Real Life.
Last week, if you missed your opportunity to get in on the Daily Face-Off Survivor game presented by Wendy's, I have good news for you. The game resets every Monday.
I'm back in.
It's a new week. I'm back in. Liam's back in. Jay's back in. Aaron's back in. Frank Saravalli's back in. Everybody's back into the mix on the Daily Face-Off Survivor game. Let's flash up our options for tonight. Leafs to win. Lightning to win. Matt Tkachuk point. Austin Matthews goal. My favorite one, David Pasternak over 2.5 shots.
That's the one I took.
He's hit it in 10 out of 11 games. So I'm going with Pasta over 2.5. Liam, what do you like?
I went Dallas over 25.5 shots. They're averaging around 31, I think. And the Boston Bruins are averaging 32 against. So I liked that one.
I don't
math checks out.
Connor McDavid. Aaron, is this you telling us what your pick is? Connor McDavid over half a point here? If Aaron was there, he'd say yes.
Yeah,
I forgot
Aaron
he's
is
not doing it.
here.
I forgot we're not in. I forgot we're not in the studio, so I can't like just throw to Aaron whenever I want to. But yes, Aaron believes in Connor McDavid getting 1 point. You can make your pick over at dailyfaceoff.com. Sign up for the Wendy's game. Food prizes every week. A $5,000 cash prize at the end of the year. And you know what? Maybe tonight for dinner, you go to Wendy's, you get the all new barbecue bacon cheeseburger, crunchy onion, sweet barbecue sauce, cheese melting over the fresh, never frozen Canadian beef jerky.
Oh, I love their patties.
Good burgers. I need lunch really bad.
I know. I am starving.
I am so hungry.
Tyler and I have been up since
my alarm went off at 4:15.
Oh, I got up at 5
because you're closer to the airport.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's show. Okay, actually, we have a little bit of housekeeping to take care of before the end of the show. Tomorrow's show is going to start at 12:30, 30 minutes late because I'm flying back from Vancouver. I'll dart straight to the office, though. Myself, Liam, will break down tonight's game against the Canucks. We'll have a good time, but it's going to start 30 minutes late, so apologies for that. Also, if you're looking for some more content in the meantime, Frank Saravalli on the latest episode of Frankly Speaking had former Oiler Zach Kassian on, recently announced his retirement. Joined Frank to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but there's one clip I wanted to play. Kassian talking about the expectations of big contracts.
It's fascinating to me how everyone really, as a fan, now views players specifically through the lens of what their cap hit is. It's like, hey, this guy's either bringing a lot of value or this guy is overpaid. How tough is that to wear sometimes when you're that guy that, hey, no one's going to begrudge you for getting the payday. You earned it. You had some really impressive seasons to start with the Oilers and you get that deal. But then to kind of live up to that, there's a lot of pressure that comes with it too.
Definitely. And I think that's one thing a lot of fans don't realize, but they have full on right, the ability to think what they want. They pay the tickets, they go to the games, they make this game possible. But players take that very personally as well. Obviously, players want to play good. Players want to do what they can to help the team win. And I think fans don't realize how much the players actually truly care. It's just we're not just kicking our feet up and sailing off into the sunset. Obviously, there's injuries that happen, things that happen throughout the year that put players back. And I think that was kind of what happened with me in Edmonton, a couple serious injuries back to back. And I just couldn't get my ground. And it was always tough, especially, like I said, I love playing in Edmonton. I love the guys there. But like a good friend once told me, it's better to be overpaid than underpaid. So that gets you sleeping at night at least. But ultimately, I would have liked to live up to the contract a little more than I did, for sure.
The one guy on that clip, Frank Saravalli, he'll be on the show Wednesday. And should I tease that maybe on Thursday, the other guy from that clip might be joining Oilers Nation every day?
No way.
Maybe you might just need to tune in on Thursday's show. And we might have a conversation with him. Frank's on Wednesday, though. Tomorrow's show's going to start at 12:30, and we'll break down an Oilers win. Please. We want to break down an Oilers win so bad. Jay and I are at the game tonight. We're going to go invade enemy territory.
Yeah, we're going.
What jersey did you bring?
I brought Ekholm.
I thought the vibes weren't good. Oh, but the Heritage Classic.
Brought it. It doesn't matter what jersey you wore in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not the jersey's fault. I've never determined that. It's not the jersey's fault.
Liam's going to be live with the watch along on the Nation Network YouTube, so make sure you tune in there and watch what is hopefully an electric night. A big shout out to our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant for another fantastic Sherwood Ford Giant game day edition of the show. Sherwood Power Sports and Marine, Finning Cat for the YouTube chat. Finning Canada is your local dealer for cat equipment, built to handle work in Western Canada. For heavy equipment for the job site, visit the cat rental store, finning.com. to find a location near you. Star Mechanical Sports Closet for letting us take the Sports Closet studio on the road. Alberta Blue Cross and their fantastic travel insurance. Trip to Arizona, everybody.
We're going on a trip to Arizona, and there just so happens to also be a hockey game. Arizona first. Just happens to be hockey at the same time.
A very unique hockey experience as well.
Yes. But we're going to Arizona to have a good time. And also maybe going to a hockey game.
I know the Oilers might have you feeling down in the dumps, but one, this trip is going to start moving right away. Two, even if the Oilers are down in the dumps, it's a chance to go to Arizona and be in the warmth for a long weekend.
I know.
In itself
it's going to be good. No, I kid.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be fun in the desert. It's going to be hot. We're going to the Mull Arena. We're sitting in the Den, which, is the fun zone, which happens to be the Oilers attack twice zone. So we're in it to win it.
Are you seeing the racks of meat they have on the counter here at Greta in Vancouver?
I know.
I need to get some food in me. Liam, enjoy the watch along tonight.
Oh, before we go, check us out at 2 p.m. on Canucks Convo when Tyler and I go and try to absolutely ruin it.
Yeah, let's try to get a bunch of as many Oilers fans as we can.
Get in the chat,
in
trash them.
Convo.
We're coming in hot. We're going to try to manifest this win. We all got to play a part here.
All right. Thanks to Greta for having us. Thanks to everybody who was in the YouTube chat. You guys were awesome tonight. Giddy up. Let's go, Oilers. We'll talk again tomorrow at 12:30.
Thank you for watching Oilers Nation every day. Hit the subscribe button to never miss a show. And for more, visit Oilersnation.com.